Son Goku and Chichi. And I find this interesting because despite the fact that we have a semi-hardcore Dragon Ball fan here, casual Dragon Ball fan here, and two hardcore Dragon Ball fans, we all four agree that they are our least favorite couple. So start us off, Kat. What do you got to say about Goku and Chichi?
Okay.
I'll get the shovel.
So, Goku and Chichi, they get a lot of hate. Now, I can understand why. It's because, of all the couples in the Dragon Ball universe, they have the worst interactions with each other, I'll admit, but there's a reason that Goku loves Chi-Chi and vice versa. I really love, even though it's anime only, I'm going to take it to the Cell Saga, right? When Goku wakes up from his heart attack and him and Chi-Chi, they reconvene. The way that you see that they love each other, that's really cute. And a lot of people will argue, oh, that's anime only. That's not in the manga. It doesn't count. I personally love it. I understand that Chi-Chi's a tiger mom. Let's break down Chi-Chi for just a second here. So Chi-Chi's crazy, but she has a reason to be. Like from the time she's a little girl, she's seeing all these crazy things happen. Her son almost dies multiple times. Her husband does die multiple times. She just wants to raise a nice, quiet family, live in the hills, not worry about much. And she can't help that Goku doesn't have a job. She can't help that Goku has to save the world. So we would all have a little PTSD. Let's be honest. But for the most part, she's supportive. She trains Goten. I really love, I love a good couple. And while I love Goku and Chi-Chi, I'm saving all my chutzpah for my number one, which we'll get to later. But I just think that people... Oh, no, I'm really sorry. Majin Buu came along again.
Yeah, Majin Buu, get out of this.
He's so awful. He's not a good person. But Goku and Chi-Chi, like I said, they get a lot of flack, but they have good moments. Anime only, manga only. They're not awful. Chi-Chi just gets a bad rep because she's a different type of mother than like 18 or Bulma, Bulma's spunky. She's going to go out there and do what she wants to do. 18's a fighter. Chi-Chi's kind of a fighter. Kinda. She's good, but she really just wants to be a good family, wholesome mom. She can't help her family, But she loves them. She was willing to put up with Goku despite him being broke. How many people are going to do that now? That's the real question. You guys know Goku has not worked a job, and she's still like, you know what? I'll cook for you. I'll raise your children even when you're not around. She deserves some props. She gets too much hate. She gets way too much hate.
I can see that.
Thank you, Kat. I appreciate it. And I wanted to start off with Kat because she was going to bring some of the positivity. I've got some positivity to bring. But first, let's go ahead and get those shovels out and start the burial. All right, Rebecca RoseGold, you told me ahead of time you're here to bury them. In fact, I was like, I got some positive and I'm not going to bury them. And you were like, oh, but I will. Well, now is your time.
Okay. I mean, just hearing what she had to say, it's not about them individually. It's not like Goku, he's like this and this is his personality. And Chi-Chi, she tries to be a good mom, all this stuff. How are they as a couple? It's really bad. And what I feel like reminded me of it, if you guys have been playing Dragon Ball Z Kakarot at all, I kind of forgot about a lot of their dynamic as a relationship. And I was reminded of it as I was playing the game where she's just like, well, Gohan has to study. And he's like, yeah, but Chi-Chi, like, we're going to go. And she's like, well, okay. Like, there's no, like, dynamic as a parent or, like, a relationship. You'd be like, oh, can we talk about this first? Let's both come to a conclusion that works well for us. And he's just like, no, I'm going to do what I want. And she's like, well, I guess, it's Goku. You can't stop him. He is how he is. Like, I feel like as a couple, they don't communicate well. Goku just kind of does what she wants. And then on the other spectrum, Chi-Chi just does what she wants because she's like, well, no, he's going to be a scholar and he's going to do this. And she's like, oh, like Goku's like, well, I don't think that's important. Like, so I feel like they're never on the same wavelength. And just, I mean, even if you really think about how they first got together, it was like, she's like, you said you'd marry me. And he's like, oh, I did? Well, what's marriage? Oh, okay, well, like, let's get together then, I guess. Like, so, but that being said, I totally see that she does love him. Like, when he died, obviously she cared. But I remember, was it during the Namek where, like, Gohan and Goku were both hurt or something? And she was like, my little Gohan, my precious Gohan. She didn't even care about Goku in that moment. Like, and I guess it's understandable as a mother. you're looking towards your son first. But just when I saw that, I'm just like, oh, you guys are just, you're a hard couple to watch. Like I can't like root for it. Like, oh, they're so cute. You know how like other couples, you see like fluff between them and you're like, oh, like I don't care at all when it comes to Chi-Chi and Goku. And that's just my opinion on that. So interested to see what you guys think.
All right. I actually kind of felt that was not as harsh. I thought you were gonna destroy
No,
them, but
I don't mean like she's the worst. It doesn't like separately. They're fine characters. It's together. They're awful. It's awful.
but yeah, everything you said, that was very well said. Anytime this man has a chance to bury Goku,
Oh, boy.
I already know it. So, we haven't talked. I know you respect Goku as a character and his work ethic, but I know you respect him for the work ethic, but the character you're down on. So here's your chance. Let's hear what you think about the relationship, the marriage of Goku and Chi-Chi. Linux.
Man, like just thinking about the relationship and even hearing the opinions, the only thing I can really say, thank the heavens for Piccolo. It's funny actually.
The surrogate dad.
Let's just talk about the parental aspect of Goku and Chi-Chi. This goes back to the lack of communication. Like neither one of them ever really talked to Gohan. Like ever. I think Goku has like a little heart-to-heart when they're training in the hyperbolic time chamber. But like as far as like getting to actually know Gohan, the only one who ever does that is Piccolo. Chi-Chi's like the super stereotypical overbearing mom who wants to control Gohan. She doesn't want him to end up like his dad. Goku just kind of wants him to follow in his footsteps and be a warrior, but that's just natural like blood of a Saiyan with him. And
Stop it, Majin Buu.
Piccolo,
I saw that. I was like,
yeah, like Piccolo is like the only one that really does get to know him and like nurture him. And if you really think about it, how Gohan acts, a lot of like prime example, he hung out with his dad all through the hyperbolic time chamber. What did he do immediately after? When Goku got his clothes fixed, he literally went to Piccolo and was like, "Can you make me a uniform like yours?" He didn't even want like. I always look at that scene because like him and Goku literally went in dressed the same, and the very first thing he did when he get out, "Hey Piccolo, can I get an outfit like yours?" You know?
I want to be like you.
Yeah, like it really just shows kind of like the disconnect. So if we're talking about them as a couple, like as far as parents, like they kind of like completely screwed that one. And even just as a couple in general, like Goku really is selfish in a lot of ways. Like he's really kind of like a man-child when it comes to fighting. So if he doesn't get the chance to do it, he throws a fit. He doesn't even like listen to Chi-Chi, or he tries to scheme his way around it versus like really hearing her concerns about it. So it's just like the communication with that couple is completely shot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely agree on that.
All right, well, definitely some good points, but I will say, Lennox, you may have forgotten at the Buu saga when, he's like, "Kibito, I want to fight in the same outfit as my dad." You forgot about that moment. So he does do that towards the later.
I'm not giving him that. I'm not giving him that.
I told you, I know, he tries to bury Goku anytime he can, but I thought everybody brought up fantastic points, but I do side a lot with what Kat was saying, because when you look at Goku and Chi-Chi, I think so many times a lot of people in the world who look at Dragon Ball, they look at basically what goes on for what we see on screen or reading the manga, but think about what went on in those 5-year time skips from the end of Dragon Ball into DBZ. Think about what happened in those 3-year time skips when they were preparing for the Jinzuko Negan, aka androids. Think about what happens in 7-year time skip when she first hears Goku's coming back. She's excited because she gets to introduce Goten to his father for the first time, and then she's concerned, does she look too old and everything? So there's just these things about Goku that you could tell she really loves, and I agree, she has a lot of patience. And at the end of the day, like so many fans, I used to complain about Chi-Chi early on, like, oh my gosh, like, you have to save the world in order for Gohan to become a scholar. But at the end of DBZ, I'm like, at the end of the day, she's just a mother who wanted the best for her son, and that's something that basically is what Chi-Chi's all fighting over, and that's something about the relationship. There's no abuse in their relationship from a physical standpoint, a mental standpoint. More actually, when I think about it, there are a couple of times in Dragon Ball Super where Chi-Chi does get physical with Goku to prove her point, but how serious can we take it given that we know how truly strong Son Goku is in Dragon Ball Super? So obviously he is allowing her to do so, but my main point here is anytime she's ever yelled at Goku is just because she wants things. She wants Goku to have a job to help provide for the family. She wants Gohan to have a good education. Now, I'm not saying I agree about her certain ideals that she had and the way she went about those things, but there is some lovingness in that family, and you see a lot during the 9-day wait for the Cell games. So it's just between those two things. I think Goku and Chi-Chi's not the most horrible couple. You hear so many times people talk about Goku's the worst father ever. They're the worst couple ever. And I'm like, I don't think it's that bad. There's some love there. It's just, I think there is some disagreements that we get there. I can see Linux's face. But the thing is, at the end of the day, Goku, he is selfish. And I agree with that part because actually one of the biggest things of reason why I did put them at number 4 is because at the end of Dragon Ball Z, that's just a BS move. Goku leaving the tournament to go train Oob for whatever reason. I don't know why he can't just treat it like a 9-to-5 job. Use the instantaneous movement, train Oob all day and come home and be with his wife. Especially with all the added material we got from Dragon Ball Super. I don't see why. We now know he has Migate no Gokui, the Ultra Instinct. Why can't Goku just even... How fast are these guys at this point now? But at that point, obviously, Toriyama was probably just ready to hang it up with Dragon Ball, working on it from the 80s up to 95, but stuff like that. There's just things compared to the other couples that we're going to talk about. Goku, there's just certain family values that Goku doesn't really fully understand, and that's one of the reasons I had to put him at my least favorite. I think clearly, honestly, Gohan and Gohan, just period, basically has really exceeded his parents, honestly, in that department, and we'll get more to that later. But that's my final take on Goku and Chi-Chi. They're a couple that they do have that love for each other, and I feel like their motives are right, but it's just not done the same way. But I just don't think they're the worst thing ever.
But let me ask you this, though. What makes you think that Goku has like such love for Chi-Chi? Because everyone says that, but I see it the other way around. Chi-Chi's like, oh my gosh, Goku, and she cooks for him all this stuff. Like, she still supports him. How does he love her back? Like, in what way do you see? Because
you see in Dragon Ball, anytime they mess Goku's family or Earth is at harm's way, Goku goes all out to protect his family. He died twice in the battle with Raditz Cell. You know, what did he tell Gohan? You know, I'm proud of you. Take good care of your mother. Like, he does love them enough when he knows it comes down to life or death. Yeah, he has shown in the series that he loves them. It's just those family values. He doesn't have a good understanding because, as Linux mentioned, Goku is designed by Toriyama to be like a man-child. I compare Goku kind of like the male lion. And if you look at the way lions are, the male lions, they basically don't do all the work. It's the lioness that do all the work. But if you come on their territory, that male lion's gonna come and rip you to shred and defend its pride. That's what I consider Goku. Yeah, there's just certain things about him as a family man that obviously is not gonna settle right with all of us, but let Cell or Boo come and want to destroy the planet. He's there to defend his family. And that's the type of love that I'm meaning for Goku. Like, he does love them in that sense.
He gives everybody that type of love, though.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I'm like, but he treats everyone on that level. So it's not that you're my wife, I care for you. It's like, you're a person on this planet, you know, and I'm going to defend the planet and you.
Goku's
you know,
not
like
perfect.
it doesn't.
Oh, I can't.
But you know,
When we get to the couple, I'm up.
Yeah. Goku's not perfect. I'm not saying he's perfect. I'm not saying Goku is perfect, let alone the greatest spouse. I'm just saying that I don't consider him to be this horrible husband that a lot of the fan base feel he is, though I do totally understand why they feel that way. I'm just talking about, to me, I feel that someone who willingly abuses their spouse, whether it be mentally or physically, or even cheats on their spouse and never tries to make amends, all fits that category to me as being a much more horrible spouse, which those are all things Goku has never done to Chi-Chi. Now, I'm not trying to make excuses for Goku, but one that I feel that has to be understand here about his character is like what Linux said, how he's a man-child. He has that man-child mentality. Remember, Goku was raised in the woods and didn't have a proper upbringing in society, which largely led to him not having proper understanding of family values, like other characters in the series or to us, the audience, in reality. So going back to your question, Rebecca RoseGold, despite the man-child mentality where Goku should know better, but he doesn't, I do feel he loves Chi-Chi, but in his own weird way. But it's because Chi-Chi has a full understanding of Goku and his shortcomings, she gives that love back to him. So it all comes down to a combination of Goku's doing things like, not out of spite, but out of not knowing better, even though he should have matured to know better by the end of the series. Now, at the end of the day, I feel Goku's not this despicable, monstrous husband. There's a lot worse spouses out there. Goku himself just doesn't have it up there all the way because he's so focused on his fighting. That's all I'm saying.
And
I don't think he's the
When we
worst,
get to the couple, I'm gonna bookmark this moment because there is a defining factor in what Goku does and what another individual does.
But hey,
I think I know. I think I know, and I think that's what I was thinking of when I said it. Where I'm like,
But hey, this is a good conversation.
You know.
I'm glad we're getting so many opinions here. But let's move on to the couple that came in at number 3. Now, number 3 and 2, it was really divided among our voting, and as a result, I had to take to my social media, and it was still almost neck and neck with that one. But coming in at number 3, just by barely, we have